And welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. It's time for our interview on Monday's special with Kiambu Governor William Kabogo, who pulled a surprise move just a day ago when he announced that he will in fact be on the ballot come the August general election, that after losing to Ferdinand Waititu in the Jubilee primaries about 3 weeks ago. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
So as I've just said, it appeared to be a surprise move because you were seen to all but very blatantly concede that you lost the election. You thanked the Kiambu people, you wished them well, you wished Waititu well, and then all of a sudden you're going to be on the ballot. What informed this decision?
Well, first, thank you for having me on the show, Anne. I was quiet after the nominations because one thing, what I saw shocked me. But anyway, how they were handled and what happened is now water under the bridge. The 2 weeks I was quiet. I was talking to people, I was talking to my family, I was talking to my supporters, and they said, you cannot let go. You cannot let go. You have to be on the ballot. Even if what they say was balloted, it was only 30% of the total registered voters of Kiambu. So 75% or so, what will they say? They will speak on the 8th. So yes, surprise.
Yeah.
Yes, this world is full of surprises.
The world certainly is. I mean, you have on record said that the Jubilee elections were a sham. What in particular surprised you about the way in which they were?
Well, we attempted to have elections on Friday, on the 25th, I think it was, and they aborted because there were chaos everywhere. And so, to correct the chaos or the problems that we saw on Friday, we spent Saturday, Sunday and Monday asking the party to do a few things. One, have a register that includes the people who registered until 2017. Two, replace presiding officers who were seen to have been hired under the influence of my opponents. Those things didn't happen. Another question, because people may just say you're crying foul. Nairobi voted 220,000 people. 100 and something for Sonko, 69,000 for PK. So the result said. That works out to 8.5%. In Kiambu, we voted 440,000. Out of 1.2, that is about 40%. What does that say? That
what do you interpret it to say?
I'm interpreting it to say, why was the turnout in Kiambu so high?
Because people are very interested in this poll?
This is the second day of voting. It's not the first day. We tried 25th, we came to Tuesday, and the turnout could not have been. Again, how can you have...
You're saying you were rigged out?
Of course, yes. That's what I'm saying in short. You cannot have the MP's total votes of a constituency to 21,000 and the governor's votes are 65,000. That means 40,000 something people voted for governor and did not vote for... Anyway, to cut a long story short.
But that is not necessarily inconceivable. I mean, this has been a race that was very, hotly contested.
Well, it is hotly contested for all seats. If there was 75,000 votes for governor, there ought to be at least plus or minus 5%.
Perhaps it was
75,000 votes or 65,000 votes, so to speak, of the senator. Who is this who wants to elect governor and doesn't want to elect
your opponents would say that even if one was to concede that it was rigging, surely it cannot be to the difference of Waititu getting over 353,000 votes and yourself 69,000 votes, that perhaps that heated turnout was simply a protest vote against yourself.
Let me put it this way. August 8th is not too far. What would happen if you find that he wouldn't get those votes, or my opponents wouldn't get those votes that they got in nomination? What would you say?
We'll have to wait till then to see what I'll say about that. You have also on the record said that a senior official in Jubilee was against you. Who are you referring to?
Hard question. Because the senior most person who was there running the nomination exercise was the deputy president. who I spoke to on Monday, and I told him I'm only asking for one thing. I'm asking for you to change the presiding officers. I had been there for 2 days, speaking to Tuju, speaking to the director of elections, and saying these people were hired by my opponents. Please remove them so that we can have credible nominations. They took me around 2.5 days or so, until I met the deputy president that evening, and he said it's too late to do it. I said, why do you think it's too late? Because we have trained those ones that are going to work. And I said to him, unfortunately, those are not the ones that were trained. The ones that were trained on Friday were removed and they placed new ones. So it doesn't matter, just get us the ones that you trained. And he promised he would do it. And that didn't happen? It didn't happen.
Do you believe this has everything to do with 2022 and the fact that you're on record telling the deputy president that he should not consider that the Central Kenya vote is a given?
There's a lot of speculation that that is the issue. But I would rather we play 17 now and worry about 22
later. But you believe he fixed you in this round?
I would not say so.
But his hand
you need more than one person. You need more than one person to fix someone.
So he was one player?
You're pushing me to say yes, he was. I'm not sure.
I'm pushing you for the truth, sir.
The truth is somewhere between ourselves. My feeling was refusal to do the things that we had given them a memorandum to do 3 days before the nominations. That refusal in itself speaks volumes.
Okay.
But it would be bad for me to cast aspersions on another person. They would have to sit with me and we discuss. Why didn't you do this?
I think the public will judge for themselves your answer this evening. It's pretty blatant what you've said. You're on record, as I've mentioned earlier, telling the deputy president that he should know that he would have to work for the votes of Central Kenya.
I didn't tell him. I didn't tell him. I said.
Come 2022?
Yes.
What exactly did you mean by that?
I meant, and I spoke this with him also after, and he agreed with me, that you don't just get votes because they were promised. You get votes because you work for them. You need to come out here and convince us by working for us, by giving us development, so that we will be convinced that our choice was right. And he agreed with me. And he said he will do it, and we have done it together before. And he started going around almost everywhere. Every other weekend he was in Central Kenya. So really, mine was to him help.
Okay, it was helpful commentary, all right. Do you believe in the larger picture of succession politics and Jubilee succession politics, that you're seen as an impediment to that?
Well, impediment would be to say, one, looking at someone from outside. But from my perspective, we have to worry about leadership of our community in the future. So we have to plan early. So if anyone says that, Kabogo, you are eyeing something in the community, of course, a man who has no ambitions is no man. I'm a leader now at the county level. I hope in the future that I'll be a leader at the national level.
Does Central Kenya have a debt to repay the people of Rift Valley, given that the Deputy President supported President Kenyatta twice?
We have had this arrangement between ourselves and the Kalenjin community that brought peace to Kenya, and agreed that we shall never fight again because of political competition. And we agreed that we are sending H.E. the President, Uhuru Kenyatta, as President then. And after 2 terms, we will get Deputy President William Ruto as President then. That is a promise we made.
All right, so you believe it's a political obligation?
It's a political obligation.
All right.
If all is kept as was, or as was agreed.
Okay, so
it has a few things that need to ride along with it.
Such as?
And that we keep our bargain, both ends we keep our bargain. Make sure that we work for the nation, and at the same time work for Central Kenya as well. So if we are to see development happening in one area and it's not happening in another, then that would be a breach of that agreement. But so far, so good.
Do you believe you're seeing that right now?
To a good extent. Yes.
To what extent? Which areas do you believe are getting preferential treatment?
6.5 out of 10.
Which areas are getting, or rather, are being overlooked? Which counties are being overlooked?
to be fair to government, equitable distribution of resources is something we can say is happening. But as you know, during a political competition period like now, you need to convince the larger population by doing things for them that you're working. So if I know the greater vote of Kabogo will come from a certain region, then you tend to favor that region a little bit. But when we come here on stage, we will speak like that doesn't happen. But it happens.
But now that we're speaking truth on the show, which
I always speak truth.
All right, then you won't mind going the whole hog. Which areas are not getting the same kind of treatment?
I'm not saying that there are areas that are not. There are areas that we could improve in.
Okay, such as?
The coverage of water in the whole country in terms of irrigation. We don't have to have to import maize every other so often.
I'm talking about counties, sir. You've said 6 out of 10 are being covered in central Kenya. Which are the
I'm saying even maize is in counties. Hunger is in counties. You know, Kenya is divided into 47 counties. I will not be able to tell you that I think so many counties are being favored. I would wish that government does development equitably, regardless of who votes where.
So if Jubilee manages to do 10 out of 10, the Deputy President has your vote in 2022?
Yes, of course.
Okay. There are also reports from the losers of the primaries in the Mount Kenya region who are now going independent, that they'll form some sort of caucus and will face off with Jubilee as a team in these elections. Does that not undermine the President and his wishes?
Where many shall gather and call for me to help, I shall listen. That is the Lord. That's the Bible. So if we are many independent candidates and we come together and say, hey, we want to campaign for the president, who would say no?
Well, the president, I'm sure he wants every vote.
Let me give you a mathematical calculation.
Okay, go ahead.
We have 4,000 independent candidates. Assuming every candidate has 200,000 people with them, following them, who, in other words, will not have gone for elections if their candidate was not on the ballot. We're talking about 800,000 people.
You're saying you've got him backed into a corner?
No, that's not a corner. That's interpretation some people want to give. I'm saying if I'm not on the ballot, I doubt if my wife would want to go to the ballot. I doubt if my close friends will want to. I doubt that 69,000 votes that you say they gave me, if truly indeed it is true, there were 69 out of 374. Those are serious voters that believe in me.
And yet the President is reported to, in a meeting that he had the first weekend of this month, to have told, you know, those Jubilee losers, quote unquote, stay in the party. There's a position for you in the party, but should you dare to run as independents, then we will consider you the opposition. Can any leader in central Kenya afford to be branded opposition and have the President inadvertently decampaign them?
You know, there's a difference between what runs in the newspapers and what happens. I happen to have sat with one of the MPs who went to that meeting, and from my understanding and what is the understanding of those MPs is the President said it is fine, let the people decide. I am told, and you need to interview one of them. You can look for MP Githenji Teto. He was in the meeting. A number of them were, and if you want to probably prove that that is true, Mheshimiwa Kabando respects the President very much. But when he said, let me finish this one. He was not going to go forward. But when his friends met the President, they said it's fine. He has come out and said, I'm on it. I'm on the ballot.
So you would be surprised if the President turned up in Kiambu and campaigned for the Jubilee Party ticket holder, Ferdinand Waititu? I
would not be surprised. Neither would I really worry about that.
You wouldn't be disappointed?
No. He has a right to do what it is that he feels, he deems fit. But I have a following that I think the President needs. Every vote counts. Remember that in 2013 we crossed the 50% mark. I'm saying we, President Kenyatta's side, with 8,000 votes. 8,000 votes, and it's a very, very small number. It's a very small number.
All right.
And we need to do
so every
better.
vote counts. Yes. The president, you're saying, has no choice.
No, I did say he has no choice.
Well, you're saying it in a roundabout way. You're saying it wouldn't be
remember
smart.
we are talking about someone I know.
Someone we all know.
Yes, someone I know.
Okay.
But quite close in terms of politics. If I was in his position, I would want every other vote. And I believe that is the position he has taken.
All right. 2 or 3 days after the nomination loss, there was a meeting of the losers, I believe, at the Norfolk. And it is believed that this is where the agreement to coalesce as independents and work together in this election came forward. What is the nature of the agreement among the independents in central Kenya, and what is your political objective?
One, I have heard you refer to this group as losers. They
lost the Jubilee primaries. I'm not sure how else one would refer to someone who lost something.
Let's for one, let me agree with you.
Okay.
You call them losers. A meeting in Norfolk. For people to get organized, there's always a beginning. There's always a place to start. There are no agreements that I know of that have been done between or amongst private candidates. It is now that they want to get together. And one of the reasons they want to get together, besides bringing the entire vote to vote for President Kenyatta, is also to be able to have a voice to speak to IEBC. There are certain things we would want to know. For example, we heard that names were being collected for presiding officers, and that's in, my body shaking. In terms of how would anybody want
You mean for the general election?
Yes, for the general election. So we would want us as a group to speak to IEBCs, because we will attract the attention of IEBC, speaking from a number point of view.
Okay.
And of course we'll be able to understand how these things were done, how prepared are they, raise our concerns as independent candidates, and also start to discuss what's going to happen in the event we have 100 MPs on independent candidates. What is it they would want to do now? Would they want to have a pack now? Would they want to discuss that now or later? So these are things that are of common interest between candidates, and it has to be discussed by some people.
But so this is also very much to do with the post-Kenyatta era in central Kenya?
It's not post-Kenyatta. It will be the next 5 years.
In his lame duck presidency?
Yes. His presidency in his second term will have so many independent candidates. That is a fact. And we need to know how is that going to be. But
it's equally about who will be the strong man in the region, is it not?
Numbers are important in any political situation. If they have 70 people in independent candidates, that would be a balancing vote.
Do you see yourself as the rallying or consolidating figure in central Kenya after President Kenyatta's term?
I see myself as a senior politician in central Kenya, quite senior, 15 years in politics, active politics. So
senior enough to run for the presidency?
Well, now there you go again.
There I go again. I have this habit.
I have this beautiful answer for you. A man who has no ambitions is no man.
Well declared.
I am now the governor of Kiambu. I hope that I'll get another term as governor of Kiambu. So.
And thereafter, once you cannot run for governor anymore,
you have to go up.
All right.
Or retire. I'm not thinking about it now, but once repeated many times, it becomes interesting. When you start imagining also that people think of you as a presidential material.
Oh, this certainly isn't an endorsement, if that's a roundabout way of saying it.
I'm saying you're not the first person
to ask you whether you want to be president.
The next 5 years will tell us what we need to do.
You have been in many scenarios at loggerheads with the leadership of Kiambu, to the extent that you're pretty much marginalized when it came to this particular nomination process. We've seen your fights with the MCAs, with the MPs of the region, and some would say that this speaks to a problem that you have in your style of governing. Some have gone as far as to call you arrogant.
Well, people define people from their perspective. But I don't think there's any place in Kenya, out of the 47 counties, that governors didn't have issues. This is a new type of government, and devolution is quite new. We got MCAs who never knew what it is that their work was supposed to be. I mean, being new, of course, you will have tensions here and there. But in 1 year, we managed to get through our tensions and get to work. What I say often is that Kabogo is not a pushover. I'm a team player, but once we have decided this is what we want to do, we must see it through. But to govern Kiambu is one of the most difficult things. We have too many Kiambu people are politicians.
But could your style have been less acrimonious? I mean, you are even on record having at various times in your leadership having disparaging remarks regarding women.
No, that is the issue. And these campaigns of nominations were driven by propaganda, not issues at all. No one is saying anything about Kabogo's development record. It is just propaganda. Kabogo has said this. And normally what I see you guys in press doing is once someone is accused of saying something, once someone is accused of saying something, you say, listen to this clip. But in the case of Kabogo, nobody has said Kabogo is so arrogant. He said this against women. And can you listen? You cannot play anything. There's no evidence of DVD, of video, of any nature, or anyone coming forward and saying Kabogo said. So these guys came together and they said, this guy, we can't deal with him in development. We can only get him with propaganda. And they did. But they will not do it again in August.
All right. Finally,
and I want to say, and I respect women. I do. Out of my cabinet, 8 out of 8, 6 are women.
Married women only?
There are
because the comment that is attributed to you is referring to a woman leader there and saying her attitude is because of the fact that she's not married.
4 single mothers and 4 married women. So what's the balance there? 50-50. I have no issues of what you do when you leave office at 5 o'clock, or who you hang out with, or what it is that you do in your private time. Can you perform in your duty? Gender, age, religion, that to me doesn't matter at all.
All right, so what will you tell the people of Kiambu who are watching now and debating whether you deserve a second term?
Well, the people of Kiambu, you know I deserve a second term. You know I have worked for you. There is no issue about development that anyone is talking about. Let's not listen to propaganda. If anyone accuses me of saying something, please bring it out and I will say, I am sorry I did it. And I did it because I was angry or something. But propaganda will not take Kiambu to the next level. It is development, hard work. Kaza Mishipi to Songambele.
William Kabogo striking a conciliatory note. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Anne.
All right.
Thank you.
We're taking a short break and we're back with more after this.
That Eladio really wants to forget you.
I don't know.
Look at what he gave me.
Where are your daughters? I don't know when they left the house. You don't know. And you're supposed to be their mother.
Salad Salad Oil mpya yenye kifuniko maalum kinachokusaidia kumimina bila tashwishi. Mafuta haya hayana cholesterol kwa afya tele. Bei yake nafuu ajabu. Bidhaa bora kutoka